You're listening to Power Pearls Podcast, where it's all about empowering your knits and pearls. My name is Kara Gott Warner, life coach and host of the show, and I help women to be more intuitive, navigate time management, and understand how mindset plays a crucial role in confidence and creative transformation. This episode is brought to you by my Tame Your Time Roadmap, a live 6-week interactive Coach in a Box workshop where I show you how to create and implement a time management strategy that takes the overwhelm and confusion out of the planning process. You get 6 weeks of lessons and live coaching with me. Enrollment opens today and class begins March 9th. So check it all out and sign up at karagottwarner.com/Tame Your Time Roadmap, and I'll see you inside. Well, hey there, Power Pearlers. I want to welcome you back to another episode of Power Pearls Podcast. So for those of you joining me for the very first time, or if you haven't listened to the podcast for a while, I just want to share a little bit of background about what the podcast is all about. So I would love it if you were to think of this as a place where you can come and pull out your knitting, bring your favorite warm beverage, and listen as I chat about universal topics that I know we can all relate to. So some of those topics are relationships. I'll be talking about wellness and also time management. And then I talk about mindfulness too. That's one of my favorite things. But I've been talking a whole lot about time management, how to plan, how to get organized, because that is my jam. I mean, that is something that I am super passionate about, and I have so much to share and so much to offer in this area. And so I realized, oh my gosh, I need to pay this forward. I know that a lot of people need this. So it doesn't matter if we're knitters, we're sewers, we're crocheters, we're quilters, or maybe we're not even crafters, but we all need this. We all could use some good advice when it comes to how to get more organized, how to plan our time better. And so also other things that I will be doing on this podcast, and I've done in the past, is I will also interview people from time to time, interview people that I call change makers in the craft world, people that I find inspiring, that I know you'll find inspiring, maybe people that are, just sort of going by the beat of their own drum, doing things that are unique and interesting so that it will really inspire you. So I want you to think of me like your creative confidence coach, and we're going to go on a journey together each week so we can unlock your potential to live a happier life and transcend struggle through yarn and craft. Okay, are you ready to hop into today's topic? All right, here we go. So in my last episode, I shared how doubt, indecision, and resistance keep us stuck. And today I'm actually going to do an even deeper dive into each of these in this 3-part series. So this is going to be part 1 and then I'm going to have 2 more episodes that go into these other 2. So it's doubt, indecision, and resistance. And these things really do keep us stuck, and they kind of work in tandem, and sometimes they one comes before the other, but it's like this nasty threesome. And I want to talk about the first one. So today is going to be doubt. So we're going to explore doubt and the concept of belief and why this is so crucial for follow through. Because without belief, or to have this, to have a compelling reason, or also you've heard this buzzword, our why, then what happens is we're just checking boxes off a to-do list, right? And we might wonder, what is this all about? What am I doing this for in the first place? And so by the end of this episode, I'm going to help you shift from feeling uncertain about how to manage your time, so you no longer feel confused, but you see doubt and confusion as opportunities for growth. Because we often indulge in confusion. And I see this often with my students and my coaching clients. So instead of telling yourself, I'm confused, how about saying, I'm learning. I may not know the answer, but I'm going to find out. Doesn't that kind of shift things a little bit better? Because, we all start, doesn't matter how successful someone is, we all start feeling confused. We all start in a place that we're not sure. We're really not sure. But we can just flip that so easily by just saying, I'm just learning. I'm learning as I go. And that might mean that you fall and you have to get up again, right? So as creative women, I think we're wired just a little bit differently. So maybe this is you. I'm not so good at getting organized and managing my time. I procrastinate and I just can't get it all done. And I'm just a big hot mess. I've been there and I've done that. Believe me. I've had to figure things out because way back in the day when I was an editor of a knitting magazine, I had to run a team of people, right? And I had to actually call, kind of make all the decisions pretty much at the end of the day regarding the magazine. And so I had to really come up with a plan. So I'm not going to say I was forced into creating a plan, but I knew that if I did that, it would really eliminate the need to do other things, right? Because, when you're spinning your wheels or, you go into your day and you're like, gosh, I'm just racing the clock and why can't I get things done? And I have to keep moving things to the next day. Well, it comes from lack of having a process and not having a really good plan in place. And you know what happens when you actually have a plan in place? You get to eliminate other things. There's some serious truth in that doing less actually opens you up for doing so much more. Really, this is the truth. But you don't know until you actually test the waters with that. And again, this is something that I help people do and I talk about on the podcast. So you're going to get to learn that here if you keep on listening. If this is something that really excites you because you're intrigued, you're I really need this. Just keep listening. Just keep listening. But I want you to just stop for a second and imagine. So imagine what life would be like if you knew exactly how to plan your day with what truly lights you up. Wouldn't that be amazing? Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. Because I think I know you pretty well because I know what lights you up is to have more time to knit and to do creative things, right? So I just want to say that your ability to overcome mindset issues. I'm kind of talking about mindset here. So the tools are really good. The planning tools are so important and great. We need them. But I'm going to stop for a second. I'm going to kind of rewind a little bit here and talk about mindset because it's huge, you guys. It doesn't matter what your goals are. Mindset is so important. It's the important first step. So your ability to overcome mindset issues is the most important step on your way to creating a simple planning system. That's the secret. That's the secret sauce. The tools mean very little if you don't have a compelling reason for actually using them. And mindset is the cornerstone of your time management process. So I'm going to repeat that again. Mindset is the cornerstone of your time management process. Okay, so let's do a deeper dive into this thing called doubt. Maybe you've experienced it. So doubt, sadly, makes you give up on your dream. But here's the good news, you guys, if you can identify doubt when it shows up. Doubt is normal, so you can be rest assured that if you feel doubt and you experience doubt, you shouldn't worry about having to push it away. I need to get rid of it. It's no good. It just means you're normal. It's part of being human and it happens to all of us. It doesn't matter how successful you are. Like I said before, the most successful people feel doubt all the time. But here's the difference between someone who is successful and someone who isn't. Someone who's successful says, all right, doubt, I know you're here, or I know you're coming, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to do that thing I said I was going to do anyway. And the person that lets themselves become consumed by doubt stops in their tracks and doesn't move forward. And they fail ahead of time. And it's the kind of failure that you don't want because it keeps you stuck. Unfortunately, it keeps you stuck. Okay, so let's unpack this a little bit more, okay? So to reiterate, if you don't have your compelling reason, right, that why that I mentioned before, you'll doubt and give up on yourself. So when we doubt, we don't do the work, and then we create evidence to back it up. And that is a self-fulfilling prophecy that we don't want. So here's the cycle of doubt in action, just so you can see it. So when it comes up, you can identify, because we're going to talk next about how to overcome it. Okay. So you think you're incapable, then this is the result, right? So you think, I can't do it. You constantly fill your brain with all these negative thoughts. And that's the result that you get, right? So then we create the evidence, like I said before, this evidence that we can't do it. And this evidence can be very strong. If we don't reach our goal, then we think that there's something wrong with us and we can't do it. So this is a thought that we really should examine at this point, because we might just continue this cycle. I can't, I'm a mess. Where do I start? This is too hard, all that stuff, right? Over and over. We play those tapes. And so whatever it is that we think, right? Our thoughts create our experience and our results. So what you think turns into your result, either good or bad, neutral, whatever. And what you think about grows. But here's the good news. There's more good news, right? We can choose a different thought that leads to the exact result that we want. So at this point, you might be thinking, all right, Kara, so how am I supposed to just go ahead and change my thought? It's not that easy. How am I supposed to do that? Because these thoughts are making me crazy and I can't stop. Okay, so here's how. Okay. Now, by the way, you can't just read these or hear these, I should say, hear these and think, all right, didn't work. You have to work it. You have to write it down. So like, I always try to think of each episode of this podcast like it is a mini training for you guys. Like this is a teaching. Because here's a little secret. I'm coaching you, right? These are all the things that I teach my students and my coaching clients that work with me one-on-one. So everything I share here with you, if you could write all these things down and you'd have a notebook, you'd be able to like totally go back to this, to your notes and work your way through an issue. Coach yourself, right? Okay. But you have to work these. You have to actually do the work, right? To see the results in your life. It's almost like reading, like if you have to take medicine because you're sick. It's the difference between reading the bottle, the medicine bottle, and actually taking the medicine, right? So you get it. Okay, so here's how we can begin the process of overcoming doubt. We connect with why we want to do this crazy planning stuff in the first place, right? So what it means is we reconnect with our hopes and our dreams, and we follow our guiding light when doubt shows up. So here's my favorite way of doing it, okay? One of my favorite, actually, I have a few favorite ways. I will put my why, my compelling reason, if I'm working on a project, right? If I'm putting together a webinar or a masterclass, which I just finished, and I remember, why am I doing this? Because I want to, for me, it's because I want to make a difference. I want to help people. What I do is I put it on a sticky note. I put it, on the bathroom mirror. Maybe I don't do that because my husband would be like, okay, you're a total nerd, which he thinks anyway. But I put it in places that I'm always going to see it, like above my computer monitor. I'll put it somewhere on my desk. I'll maybe even put an alarm on my phone. And another thing that I love to do is actually record little notes to self. So if you guys have a smartphone, which I know most of us do, you probably have that little feature to record, like do a voice recorder. But if you don't, you can find that app for free somewhere on one of your favorite app places that download apps. And I will record a little note to myself, reminding myself why I'm doing what I'm doing and creating the inspiration to keep going down that path. Right? So just get scrappy, come up with different ideas. And yes, your family will think you're a total nerd like mine does for doing these things, but so worth it. So worth it, you guys. And the way to create the future is actually based on what we think today. So if you continue to connect with your why, your compelling reason, then what you think about grows. I said that before, right? So if you want to know what your future is, you guys, try this little experiment. It's powerful and it really, really works. I'm not kidding. It really works. How your experience is today is based on what you already did in the past. So if you want to create extraordinary results for yourself down the road, whatever it is that you're doing today, whatever it is that you're thinking today is going to give you that result in the future. So again, I'm going to repeat what I said. The way to create the future is based on what you think today. All right, so next, I'm going to switch gears a little bit. I'm going to talk about the 4 C's of commitment, giving you just a little teaching here, still on the topic of doubt. So hopefully this is going to help you move away, overcome, those times, not move away, but identify it and work against that feeling of doubt when it does surface, okay? So Dan Sullivan, author and entrepreneur, teaches that there's actually a path you need to take to get to confidence. And it all starts with 4 things. Okay, there's 4 things, and they all start with C's. So that's why I said they're the 4 C's of 4 C's of confidence. Sorry. Okay, so number 1 is commitment. Number 2 is courage. Number 3 is capacity. And number 4 is confidence. Okay, so here's how it works. It's sort of like a progression, and one goes into the next. So commitment leads to courage. Courage leads to capacity, and capacity leads to confidence. So here's how it happens. So you start with the commitment and you say, all right, I'm going to do this thing. So talking about our planner, right? Or getting organized, or, just finding time to do that thing that really matters to us. Maybe it just means I want to find more time to finally design a sweater. I don't know what it is, but I'm just using that, right? As an example, something super simple. And you're going to make the commitment to showing up every day, maybe between 10 and, 12 o'clock every day. And then once we make that commitment and we show up, then courage kicks in. So that's step 2. Because when we show up, we're going to have those days that we don't want to, but we actually need the courage to say, I'm going to do it. I don't want to. I don't feel good about it. I want to do something else, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to stay with this, experience. I might feel the emotions of not wanting to do it because I might feel like I want to go I want to go watch Netflix. I want to knit in Netflix or whatever, right? But we stay with this. And then having the courage to do it leads to step 3, which is capacity, right? So then we are like the little engine that could. It's like, I'm going to do it. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. And then we're like, oh my gosh, I did it. And look at what I created. And then that leads to number 4, which is confidence. That's the goal, right? So this confidence that we could do it. We could do this thing. We created this result. So that is kind of this is the 4 C's of confidence, because, we can't just spontaneously create confidence. Sometimes we can, of course. But when it comes to creating something extraordinary in our life, or a goal, like I said just a moment ago, well, I want to design my first sweater, or maybe something simpler. Okay. Maybe it's just to design a shawl. You need to go through these 4 C's to get to that confidence. So you can't skip You can't skip. You got to go through all 4 of these. And so once you realize it, that's when you're able to show up. So I do an even deeper dive into this in my coaching course that you can learn more about. It's a new workshop that's coming up soon, by the way. So enrollment is officially open as of today. So yeah, this podcast just released. It's open. Enrollment is happening. So if you want to check things out, see what's inside the course, you can go to karagottwarner.com/Tame Your Time Roadmap. Okay. So check that out. So I just want to say, lack of belief is the killer of dreams, right? So connecting to that why is huge. You believe it because you see it. It's not the other way around. Have you ever heard that saying, I'll believe it when I see it? No. That's not our jam, right? We believe it because we see it. So I want you to turn up your power song, my friend. I want you to find that song and don't stop believing, okay? All right, take care, and I will see you next time. If you're ready to map out a sound planning strategy that helps you to unlock your potential, then I want to invite you to my Tame Your Time Roadmap, a live 6-week interactive coach in a box workshop. Let's take the overwhelm and confusion out of the planning process. Enrollment is open for just a short time because the first class starts on March 9th. So go ahead and save your spot at karagottwarner.com/Tame Your Time Roadmap, and I'll see you there. And if you could do me a teensy-weensy favor, it would mean so much to me if you could visit iTunes and leave a rating and review for this podcast. This is so important because it helps get the show noticed, so please help share the love. Your rating and review will help me greatly in getting the word out to more knitters and creative women. Thanks again, and see you in the next episode.